Hey y'all. Thanks for coming.
Don't be shy.
Can you,
Don't be shy.
what's your name at the board? Jay? Nice to meet you. Could you make it so I can see these people and it doesn't need to be so bright on me, I don't think. See all the people who are here. Yeah, okay, and could you turn this up just a little bit? Thank you very much. All right, thank you all for coming. I'm gonna play a bunch of stuff and have you ask as many questions as you want. It's a very intimate crowd here, so feel free to take your time and ask as many questions as you possibly want. And I'll just let you guys run it. I don't have anything in particular that, any kind of agenda or anything like that. I'm just gonna play and then maybe play like 3 songs, and then if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer all those. And they don't have to be about music or guitar, they can be about anything. So yeah, it's really up to you guys. So let's do this, all right? I might want to adjust this while we start playing the first song, but we'll be cool. I don't need the guitar in my monitors, just so you know. Once we get it started, please don't change anything. It's like...
I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Well, the truck's still there.
There's no guitar in your monitors.
Alright, now, was there guitar in my monitors before?
No.
There wasn't?
No.
I
Very,
never
very
asked
strange.
for guitar in there.
Wow, that was weird. Alright, well, it's casual. Yeah, what's
You want a touch or something? Ben?
Yeah, the first song I heard too much of my guitar, now I don't hear any of it. I think I know what it is. The clean needs to come up, that's what it is. Sorry about this, folks.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe a little bit more. Now, Kisan, Hondaしてください。Hondaしてくださいね。Okay, here we go. This one is called For a Friend. y'all so much. Have any questions at all? Anything? Anybody? I know.
You've written a lot of songs of this, and they're all very different. So how do you remember them all? Do you remember 3 or 4 or enough for a gig at one time, or do you actually remember them all?
How do you remember them? That's the good question.
Because I've written a few songs, and sometimes when I've not played them for a while, I'll go back to them and it feels like I'm learning.
You're so right.
Have you ever gotten that?
Oh, absolutely. It's easy to remember songs that you're playing currently on tour and stuff like that. Like all 3 of those songs, actually. So those are like once you played anything on tour, it kind of sticks with you for maybe a year, and then it kind of drifts away, and then you have to relearn it again. And it's funny because I was thinking of doing this today for you guys because we might add a new song in the set, and I haven't played it. Maybe in a couple years, and there's a lot going on. So I was thinking maybe I might try it out in front of you guys and have you guys watch me fuck up like a maniac. I might do that later because if we do it now, then I'll know whether or not to try it tomorrow live or tonight or whenever we do it. He requested it, by the way, so I'm not going to do it now. But yeah, so that's the thing, you can only remember so much stuff when it comes to material. When it comes to ad-libbing, I could do that forever, but like for full songs and melodies and changes and tempos and all those things, you really have to go back and relearn your own stuff. And it's no fun, but it has to be done. We only have so much capacity in our hard drives up here. Good question.
And when you go back to relearn it, do you think some of the stuff you write's like technically impossible for majority of people? Do you, how the fuck did I do that?
Sometimes I think, what the hell was I thinking when I was writing this? This is a pain in the ass. Sometimes I do, but usually not. Usually, if I do something that I like enough to release, then chances are it's not something that it's going to be impossible for me to do. But sometimes when I'm recording and writing, I get kind of anal about a lot of little details. Then when it comes time that you have to do it, then in front of people, then it's a little bit more difficult. But you get used to it. It's just part of the work. You have to work. You have to work sometimes.
Because you play big venues, or you have played big venues, and you play little intimate gigs, and going back to the sound like we had the sound issue there, which do you prefer? Do you prefer the big venues?
Oh, hell yeah. Anyone who says, oh, I love to play the intimate venues, they're just lying to you. They're just lying. This kind of thing, I like it intimate because I can see everybody, and we're having a conversation, and it's not like a really, how they say, Masterclass, and it's really stiff and stuff like this is really kind of friendly, so I dig this. But playing concert venues, the reason why we play smaller venues like this is to play a show and have people like it and tell their friends, and then next time we play our bigger venue and a bigger venue, and that's the goal. Okay. And then then you're out of fashion, and then you go back down and you play smaller venues, and then you say, oh, I like the smaller venues. It's bullshit, but but yeah, but you know what, the real thing is, most of us who play music, we just love to play. So it's not really like I love these big venues and I hate the small venues. We just like to play. Of course, we'd rather play for more than less, but what can you do?
And where did you get your boots from?
Japan.
Fantastic.
You don't need them here because everybody's like twice as tall as me. But Japan, yeah, you can get them here. Actually, I saw boots just like this in Sydney.
Okay,
yeah. They exist.
After Cacophony, how did you get to be playing the Jackson Kelly, and then you morphed into your own model here?
Yeah, I've pretty much played whatever was in front of me, whatever I wanted at any time, and the people at Jackson have always been very close, friendly, and supportive, whatever I was doing, whatever band, whatever project, whatever. Even when I was working with other companies, Jackson was always there. So I had a PRS signature model. When that contract ran up, I decided not to renew it, and Jackson said, well, how about come back to us officially? and time was right, and then they created this monster with me, and just very happy with it.
Cool.
Here we go.
マーティさんが曲を作るときにどんなところからイメージが湧きますか？
そうですね。じゃあどうすればいいですかね。みんな日本語大丈夫でしょうかね。I guess I should translate that. He asked me when I'm creating songs, do I have particular images in mind, and am I, picturing certain things when I'm trying to write songs? And answer is really no. あまりイメージがないとか何もないですね。I usually hear like a melody somewhere, maybe even in a restaurant, a little part of a melody, and I like that, I'm going to steal that. And sometimes I just rip it right off, and by the time I get home to work with it, I've halfway forgotten it, and I've kind of made my own thing out of it. So I'll take a little motif of something. It could be anything. It could be a rhythm. It could be a little interesting way of turning a melody around. Anything. I'll just hear something, and that'll spark like a whole 10 seconds of an idea, and then that'll be the beginning of a song. だからどっかでパクりまくってるんですよ。BGM とか何か聞いて気に入ったメロディーとかフレーズとかモチーフとかあったらそれを一応覚えて、で覚えたら家に帰ったら帰るうちに半分ぐらい忘れちゃったんですから、そのうちに自分のものになっちゃうから。でも元々はパクリかもしれない。Good question.
Are there any songs that you find more or less fun to play?
More or less fun. Yeah, not really. I mean, I just love to play. Sometimes things are a little bit more challenging, but then those are more rewarding when you do them well. And sometimes the less challenging ones are fun because you don't have to really work hard. So it's all fun.
It could just be songs that you like.
What's that?
It could just be songs that you like to play.
I like to play I don't even want to play songs I don't like. That's one of the luxuries of being your own artist. You don't have to play songs you don't like. You know what I mean? Like all of us really, we've all been in cover bands growing up and playing in pubs, and I was awoken by a band playing Sunshine of Your Love on the street today. I was sleeping in the afternoon and I heard a band playing, and I'm like, wow. So everybody who's a musician grows up playing cover songs, and some of them you like, some of them the band leader chose, some of them the place you're playing makes a list of requests, and you're playing weddings and playing all this stuff you don't like. My first band, we were playing like Saturday Night Fever songs. We're just totally dating me, but that's the thing. I don't play anything I don't like anymore.
Just on that, Marty.
Yeah.
How often do you go back and play the original songs? I mean, when you were younger, listen to Sabbath, and how often do you pick up the guitar and go back to those songs that shaped you as an artist, and stuff like Sabbath? And how often do you play that? When you're sort of just jamming by yourself, and do you do that regularly? You go back to the old school.
I don't really go back, so to speak, but like if I'm doing a sound check and I'm standing there, subconsciously those songs come out.
Wow. Okay.
Those will come out. There's a Kiss song that always comes out, and
Mr. Speed.
you never know if you're playing it right, but it just like comes out, and those are the things that happen.
It's in the hard drive.
What's that?
It's in the hard drive.
It's in the hard drive, man. You can't get rid of it. It just comes out when you do a sound check or something. Fun.
What's the question that you wish people would ask that they never ask when you get out of the end of the Masterclass?
Not that one. No, not really, man.
If you're not going to answer that one, what music do you listen to when you put on a CD?
Oh, okay. Good
I'll
one.
put that as my question.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I'm more curious about what people ask than anything else. So
fair enough, yeah.
I'm very curious. what I listen to, mostly Japanese music, pop music, which pop music over there can be extremely metal, or it could be dance music, or it could be idol music, and you know, the
What's
latest
your take
hits.
on like baby metal then for that? Is like
I like baby metal, yeah.
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 Okay.
And Man with a Mission, Maneki Ketcha, Crossfaith, AKB48, Moonweed Clover. Who else am I listening to? Mono. Mono is great. I would recommend them for anybody coming to my show. Mono is fantastic. Maximum the Hormone.
And would you go and see them in concert? Would you just wander into a club and see any of those bands?
Actually, living in Japan, going to gigs is kind of a pain in the ass. It kind of is a little bit hard for me, but I do a lot of collaborations when I'm playing with a lot of my favorite artists, so I do that. I can't remember the last concert. Oh, I just went to a show. I just went to a good friend of mine is in a band called Deaf Heaven, and they played in Tokyo, and I went to the show. It was really good. Hi.
Yeah, I'm just interested in the world has changed for all these young guys that are picking up guitar.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on their futures and the way the world's changed and I suppose the different media available to them, but also the negative sort of side of that as well?
I got everything except the positive, negative of what?
The positive and negative sides of the only place they have to showcase their talents and skills anymore is on social media.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Good question. I think it's fantastic. You guys look pretty young here, actually. Are you father and son?
Yeah.
Not brother.
No.
I think it's fantastic. Sad thing is a lot of gigs, I don't know about this one, are like 18 plus or something like that. But I think it's a really good time because I meet so many people who are father and son. They're both playing music or they're into music, and it's like hard, aggressive music. You know, my parents weren't really into hard, aggressive music, so you know they didn't have a problem with me and my music. But like it would have been fun to share that type of thing. You know what I mean? And my guitarist Naoki here, he's going to go see Kiss with his parents in Japan after this tour's over, and he's like super young. So like, and he's in my band, and you'll see that he's just full on insane. So I think must be a lot of positive things happening now because maybe 10 years ago, like hard music and really guitar-intensive music was like for the older crowd completely, and now it's like younger kids are coming to the shows, not here because it's all like over age and stuff, but there's a lot of interest in it, and I think it's basically the same. I mean, the kids now are the same as what I was. I had that exact same shirt. I had the same hairstyle, the same shirt. You know, things don't change really that much, and I think it's cool, and I think the internet is like, it's like you said, it's like a plus minus thing, but I think it's positive in the way that there's probably a lot more information, so someone who's like hungry to learn can really kick ass because it's all free. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, all there was one hippie guitar teacher who, you know, he's a good teacher, but I wanted to learn punk rock and heavy stuff, you know, and no one in town did it, and there was like, you could order these guitar learning books, and they were like stapled together with Xerox paper that you get out of like a Hit Parade or magazine. There was no information, which is good because it forced us to learn, but then now you've got all the information so more people can experience the fun of playing music. I mean, you don't have to make a life out of it, a career out of it. It's still fun. So there's a plus and minus, and the social media is a great thing because that, you know, it's the way you get into the world of music somehow. I only wish that there was a more encouragement and less negativity. But I think that was always there. It's just now you can't, you know, you can see it. Back then, you know, everybody was jealous of every other guitar player. You know how it is. You play, and like all the other guys, he sucks, he's an asshole. And you just didn't see it. But now it's like everybody's, you know, writes it, and I really, really don't like that at all. I mean, I think those people anybody who's like smart would know well enough to ignore that stuff because those people are just jealous people, but a lot of people are very sensitive. That's why they pick up music in the first place, so it can really be a downer. So I don't like that part of the internet, but that's kind of like the trade-off, you know, for like all the free guitar videos in the world. I mean, it's kind of fair almost. You know, it's kind of fair, but it's a great question.
Is there one song out there that you wish, oh damn, I wish I wrote that song?
So many songs out there, all the time, constantly. I have complete complex that everything is just way better than anything I've ever done. I like my stuff, and it's mine, and I love it and all that, but like I hear a great song and I'm like, I wish I could write a song like that all the time. All the time.
How did you write Tornado of Souls?
I didn't write the song, I just played the solo. I don't consider playing a solo writing so much. I just consider it soloing, doing the solo, and that would be just like any other solo of any other song, as I'll hear what the song is, I'll kind of get an idea what the song's like, and I say, well, how would I take this song to the next level, or how would I put my stamp on it? And just kind of blindly go into it and hope for the best. And if it comes out soon, that's great. Sometimes 1-2 takes and I'm out of there. Sometimes 100 takes and I'm still not happy. So I don't really remember anything particularly different about that, other than a lot of people bring it up, a lot of people seem to like it, and the only reason I can think of is that it's long. And in the history of rock music, all the famous, quote-unquote famous guitar solos are long. You know, you've got your Stairway to Heaven, long solo, Freebird, super long solo, Layla, like endlessly long solo. It's that Pink Floyd song with the long solo. All of those famous songs have long solos, so I think, I'm not saying you, but I'm thinking the mainstream public mistakes length for being great. They think, wow, this is long, so it must be great. And so I think I've lucked into that because the Tornado of Souls solo is very, very long, so people hear that and they mistake it for being any good. So that's what I think it is.
Agree to disagree on that.
What's that?
I'm going to agree to disagree on that.
Agree to disagree? What do you mean?
Well, it's not just the length, obviously, it's brilliant. Like, I'm sure everyone here would bow down to that song.
If you say that, I take it as a great compliment. I'm just trying to be modest, you know.
Yeah, no, I know. But I'm saying.
Actually, I think it's fucking awesome.
That's the album of the century, that one.
You guys are too kind.
What's your structure for writing a song?
Structure.
Will you write a solo first and then a riff around it, or will you work your way backwards? Because when I write songs, I find the hardest part of writing songs is actually finding a riff that sounds like you can start a song with it.
You're
I
right.
always write something and go, that would be great for a chorus or a...
You're right. The solo is the very last thing, and that's the fun. That's almost like a reward. I get to put a solo here. The hardest part is having something interesting enough to flesh out into a whole song. And it's got to come from a melody, and in my case anyway, so I always have a melody. Like I said before, I'll hear something and maybe I'll take a little bit of it, like for the last song I just played. That thing kind of I think I might have heard that it sounds a little bit like the flute solo in the Elvis Presley song American Trilogy. If any of y'all know that, and you listen to it, you go, Marty's ripping that shit off. It sounds a little bit like that, and I've heard that song my whole life, so it probably seeped in there. So that's all you need. You start with a little motif, and then you just hope that it leads somewhere else. And like what are you, 15, 16?
I'm 14.
14, yeah. So just keep trying, because it takes a long time to really flesh it out, but be brutally honest. Record yourself and listen to it and say, you got to be honest. I mean, if you heard what I was writing when I was your age, you'd be like, okay, I'm ahead of the game now. So, yeah.
Guitarists are associated with great guitars, you know, they make their signature model. And for me, I've shown my age here, but my ultimate guitar would have been to play like Roy Gallagher's Stratocaster. Is there any what stand out to you that we want to take and you want to play and recreate their sound?
Great question, but absolutely not. I'm not a guitar guy at all. Yeah, sadly.
Yeah.
Don't be sad about it. I'm a music guy. All of that energy that a lot of people put into their instrument and the love of the wood and love of the craft and the shape and all that, I put that into the music and my interest in music, and to me a guitar is like a table.
It's like a tool to you.
What's that?
It's a work tool, is it?
It's a work tool, yes.
Yeah. And also, carrying on from that, since I first started playing guitar, there's been an increase in people using pedals. You can get pedals and distortion things out there. Do you use any of those, and do you find those a favourite?
Those, you can feel free to walk right over there and see the pedals that I use.
Yeah.
It's very simple. Usually I just go straight in to an amp.
Yeah.
And even right now it's probably straight in, just about straight
Well,
right
most
now.
times, like 90% of the show is straight to the amp.
Yeah, straight through the amp, yeah.
Have like a little delay, noise gate.
Yeah, I don't use anything fancy. Not smart enough, plus I don't like anything getting in the way. Guys who are good with that, I really admire those guys. Like Devin Townsend is a genius with that stuff. He can just express himself that way. And I find my way of expression different, and I'm not mechanical enough for that.
Yeah, I remember seeing Andy Summers years ago, and he was like a dancing hyena, and
Yeah.
waving for him. Yeah.
Yeah, if I had that, if I was that good, I would be doing it too. Yeah.
Thank you.
I like that you seem to keep evolving and pushing the limits all the time. I hear sounds come out of your guitar that I don't hear anywhere else, which I really like.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering, does there come a point when you're sort of thinking about theory, you can actually put that aside and it becomes more about all just feel again? Or do you have to go back to thinking about theory a lot?
It's a good thing that I don't know theory, because then I don't really think about it. But a theory is different for every person. Every musician has their own theory. If everybody learned the same theory from the same books, everybody would play the same. So especially people who've played music for several years, they have their own little ideas and little habits and things that they do in this situation, that situation, this situation. So each person kind of develops their own theory as they go. So I'm rarely thinking about, well, does this chord fit over this note or scale or mode? And some guys are really good with that, but I never spent any time with that. Just learn by making mistakes. Yeah. All right.
When you tour, do you tour with your family? Do they come with you, or is this work and?
Rarely. My wife is also a musician, and she's on tour right now herself. So not here, unfortunately, but not that much. There's just really not enough time. But sometimes when there's time, it's nice. Yeah.
Who are your favourite guitarists?
My favorite guitarists, so many that I like. The new guys, there's this guy now who's playing. His name is Matthias Asato. Any of you guys know him? You know him? Man, check this guy out. This guy he's beautiful playing. There's a lot of guys. Of course, the guys from my childhood, like Kiss and Black Sabbath and the Ramones, those were the biggest. And then when I started getting into guitar, it was Lee John Roth and Frank Marino. And one of my biggest influences was a guy named Neil Giraldo, who played in Pat Benatar's band. And he was never really a guitar hero type, but I think I probably was influenced more by him than any of the other guys as far as content of playing and melodic soloing concepts. He does things that just were perverted on the guitar, and it fit in pop songs, and I thought that was just so cool, because most pop songs just have some random throwaway guitar solo in it. He was one of the very first guys to do interesting things in it, and the guitar has a presence in pop music. One of the other guys who's like that is Brian May from Queen, who did that on a very big scale, but in Neil Giraldo's case, I mean, no one thought of her as a guitar band, but he's doing this fantastic guitar work, and every song had a different solo in it. I learned every one of those solos, and just learned a lot from the way he played, because a lot of it's just like non-theoretical, and it just works. So he was my probably biggest guitar hero when it comes to actual playing.
Your style of playing is far from conventional, but is there anyone who you listen to and you go, that's way out there?
Other guys?
Yeah.
Oh, they're all way out there, man. I can't. You're 14 and you speak so well. I mean, I was such a bumbling idiot when I was 14. I can't even tell you. Yeah.
Play guitar, Marty.
What's that?
You should hear him play guitar.
Hear you play guitar?
He's a genius.
You want to play?
It might be a bit.
Go on quickly, do it quickly while he's at
Go.
Go.
Yeah, all right. Bring it up. Yeah, nothing like being put on the spot, but just. You want clean or distorted?
Distorted, sir.
All right, rock it out, brother.
Just trying to think of two with 24 frets. This is a bit. Yeah.
This is 22, but there's no reason to have anything higher than those 2 frets. You don't need to go there. Awesome, dude. Fantastic. That's great. Awesome. That's really, really good, man. Great playing. Like to see it. Wow. Anybody else? Making my job real easy. Great. So, wow. I'm just happy to answer your questions. I've got a few other songs to play if you have questions. Either way, up to you guys.
Have you ever used a Floyd Rose? You don't really don't care?
Nah, I don't use any
No
bar
trims?
things. Just one more thing for me to make a mess out of. Okay. All right. So,
Well, I was just going to ask again for the younger kids, and that is his mum too, I guess. Do you feel there's still career options for these kids sort of now?
I would say, how can you judge after like 1 minute of playing? You can't really make a judgment.
No, I just mean for all the kids.
For everybody, what I would say, you're only 14 and you can already play. I mean, that's really, really a great start. The best thing, the real advice is get into a band immediately. Get into a band. Starting a band is a lot harder than joining another band. So if you join a band, it doesn't matter if you like the music at 14. Just get into as many bands as you can. Play music you hate. Learn from other people. Learn bad habits to avoid. Just because 90% of music in the business is not the musical part of it. It's the people, working with people, playing well with others, so to speak, as they say in school. That's what it is. Showing up on time and being a cool guy. What's that?
The job side of it.
A complete job, yeah, but like you're gonna want to learn how to deal with a lot of weird situations. You know, people doing music are not necessarily as well spoken as you are at 14. Took me at least 30 years to get to that point. It depends on how serious you are about it. I mean, the real serious thing is you move to the biggest city in your country, which in Australia is Sydney or Melbourne, Sydney, and then that's what you do. And then when you're really super serious, then you go to like New York or LA, or maybe London, maybe. And if you're out of your mind, Tokyo. But those are the real things. But like at 14, you shouldn't even be thinking about that type of thing. You should completely just enjoy playing with people. Play with people who are better than you, and people who are like, making a little pocket change playing clubs and stuff. Just play all the time with other people, because a lot of what happens if you play by yourself all the time, you kind of do what you wound up doing, which is this kind of impressive type of stuff. But let's just say Elton John is auditioning guitarists, and you play that, you're going to be kicked out. You know what I mean? So sometimes you gotta sit down. Sometimes that's gonna get you the job. So, but of course, when you're 14, that's what you want to do. But that's kind of like what happens when you play by yourself a lot. So when you play in bands, then you realize the actual position of a guitarist in a band, which 90% of the time is just playing stuff to back up a singer.
You're very lucky because you're a solo artist, so you can basically play whatever you want.
Yeah, well, I've forged it into that pattern. That's really, really hard, and that's why we're like playing tiny places like this, and I'm like 9,000 years old, so there you go. But like, it's really important. Of course, if you're interested in doing instrumental music, that is an absolutely rewarding and challenging and fun thing to do, and it takes a ton of energy to do. Absolutely nothing against that, but my favorite memories of my whole life is being 14, 15 and playing in bands. There's nothing better than playing a bunch of bar chords and having girls go crazy for you. There's nothing better than that. You know what I mean? So, and then you bust out that stuff that you just played, and then the guys go, oh my God. Then you got the guys.
Yeah.
But bands, get in bands. I know you're good enough to play in a band now, so just you're in a band?
I'm not in a band.
Get into a band. You got the look, you got the guitar playing, so that's my advice.
Interested in being in a band.
And you're also lucky, you've got very supportive parents. You're like all the way ahead of the game, but like the thing is, nowadays, people are getting good younger now, so you're young, but you're not that young. You know what I mean? So I get into a band and just stay away from drugs and listen to me talking. You know? Listen to this guy. Yeah, and just keep good common sense, you know. The way you speak, you know, sounds like you got common sense, So, wow, and other question?
Can you show me how to play the solo for Trust, please?
Solo? Oh, God.
Please.
If you played it on your phone, I could like learn it and play. I haven't heard the song in 20 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like I wouldn't even know where to start with the solo, much less the riff or anything. You want to learn it? Well, I've only got 5 minutes.
No, that's all right.
Sorry. This goes back to the question before. It's like it's a type of thing that if you would have caught me while I was in tour, I would have like whipped it right out. But sorry. Yeah. So like, if someone has a last question, maybe I'll do one last song. We got to do the next thing here. And
What kind of shampoo do you use?
What's that?
What kind of shampoo do you use? What kind of shampoo do you use?
For your hair, shampoo.
What'd you say?
What kind of shampoo do you
What
use?
kind of shampoo do I use? I thought he said, you have pretty ears. What kind of shampoo? I use this stuff called When. Have you ever heard of it? It's like on those infomercials at like 3 a.m. It's really good. Really, really good. It's the only thing that takes care of this wig that I'm wearing. All right, so since I don't have enough time to play that one song I was going to play, I'm going to try to play a song that I actually know how to play. Which should I play? Should I play Undertow or the Japan Heritage theme song? What's that?
I'm going for Undertow.
Undertow, all right, I like it. If my mom knew the names of the songs of my favorite guitar players when I was a kid, it would have been awesome.
It's scary what I know.
It's fantastic.
Some technical details about guitars and things I shouldn't have in that head.
It's great. It's great.
What song?
Undertow. All right. so much. All right, they're giving me the sign here. Is somebody gonna get that?
Yes. Looking for Peter Metcalf. Yes. Congratulations, mate.
Oh, perfect. The guitar guy gets the guitar.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you can stay for the meet and greet and get that sign.
Congratulations.
Mate.
Whoa. You're very welcome. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for your great questions. Really was a blast. Easy, fun.
All right, guys.
Thank y'all so much.
Anyone who does not have